Boop, and we're live. Hello, hello, hello. Let me just make sure I can see. Yep, there we go. There's my game is looking rather quiet. Maybe I should up the game volume a little bit. But welcome back to Sorin's journey in Final Fantasy XIV. It's been a while since Sorin's been here. I think it was end of July last time I streamed Sorin. That was when we were finishing up Endwalker. But it's time for him to return because there's still some content I want to get him through. And today we're going to be starting into the whole Pandaemonium series of quests. Yeah. Let me just, while I'm thinking about it, see if I can't... if I put that up to 60 maybe? Maybe 75. Maybe just 70. Okay, hopefully that's okay. I know I have the BGM down a little. But yeah, also got Sorin in a new outfit for his paladin. Which yeah, I'm planning on kind of pretty much for the rest of what Sorin's going to be doing, just having him stick with paladin. Now that he's ooh, that's not what I want to do. That's also not what I want to do. I forgot my controls already. Yeah, now that he has kind of at least one class in every role, well, he has one job in each role. I feel like kind of like that's him done for like taking on new classes. I can't think of any story or character development wise he'd take up. And of all of them, I feel Paladin's the one that kind of... Sorin feels like a Paladin to me. But if I do get to Dawn Trail and do the job quests there, I'll be making sure to level these up in the background so that I can do those job quests. But I'm actually debating whether or not Sorin will ever get around to Dawn Trail. Because I enjoyed Dawn Trail, but I don't know if I kind of enjoyed it enough to stream through it. I'm quite looking forward to Sorin going through the Pandaemonium, Myths of the Realm, and all the post-Endwalker quests. Like that little story, but I think then I might kind of... but I suppose if I continue through all that, then it kind of does... There are the hints dropping about Dawn Trail, but I'll see how I feel about it when I get around to it. Maybe it's just because I've played Dawn Trail like through like relatively recently that I'm kind of... my brain's not quite feeling like doing it all again immediately. But anyway, let's get started and see what adventure... get to this new adventure. Certainly has been a while since I've been... When was the last time I came out to this view? Tonight skip sleep or something? Well, I didn't want to skip a Friday stream, but kind of because I was helping out at a youth group between 8 and 10, I had to run it late or not at all. Excuse me, are you looking for someone here? It appears my calculations were correct. I knew that at this very spot I would encounter none other than Sorin, the hero who saw us through the final days. So certain was I of my math that I stood here for... well, let's not concern ourselves with that. I'm sure if you'd have just gone in and asked, Ojika could have sent me a message. I've been away for the past few months. I am Nemjiji, assistant to one Professor Claudian. We work with the ITS school to observe the ethereal sea and delve into its myriad mysteries. Some mysteries, though, are beyond even our capabilities to unravel. The strange crystal we but recently discovered, for instance, defies our every conjecture. You've been to the center of the star and far beyond it, however, so we hope that you may see something in this crystal that we academics do not. I beg you, lend us your well-traveled eye at Aporia. Professor Claudian will be eagerly awaiting your arrival. Right. Well, I guess there's no harm in helping out. Not quite the adventure I was imagining I'd get started back on, but I suppose research is important. Now that Heidelin's not here, I can only imagine what kind of things are going on in the Ethereal Sea. Alright. Wait. Did I never... I never did. There are still quests in Labyrinthos I haven't done with Sorin. Okay. Right, no flying. At least there's a leaf right at the area. I just do wonder about the safety of these Aephorite plaza designs. Yep. Right, Professor Claudian. I don't quite know who I'm... Well, if that's Nemgigi, then... Professor Claudian? Greetings, Sorin, and welcome to my humble laboratory. I'm sure Nemgigi has already told you plenty about us, but allow me to introduce myself personally. I'm Claudian, leader of this little research collective. I must admit, I've been nervous about this meeting ever since Nemgigi set out to find you. For a researcher in my field, there is no greater an honor than to meet the first man in history to traverse the Ethereal Sea and return to tell the tale. The Professor speaks often and at length of your deeds, but he has no small number of achievements to his own name. He has peered deeper into the Ethereal Sea than any other in Sharlayan, and the breadth of his knowledge is peerless. Peerless, perhaps, but for a single man, we must seize this precious opportunity to learn what we can from him, and perhaps crack this conundrum that has stumped the three of us for moons. It was we who peered into the fathomless sea from the Antitower in the Ravanian hinterlands. There we spoke with Heidelin, and learned of the fate that would befall this star. The final days. Soon thereafter, all research was moved to Labyrinthos, and through the Aetoscope did we continue our vigil. As impressive a work as the device is, however, it can glimpse but a fraction of the sea's infinite depths. Which brings us to the matter at hand. Not long after the Exodus was declared, we recovered an unusual crystal shard during a routine observation. It appeared before us suddenly, as if propelled to the surface by some unknown force. A mysterious crystal? We found that it possessed an ethereal density that exceeds that of normal crystals by orders of magnitude, and its shape resembles nothing which occurs in the natural world. It was made, not formed. A manufactured crystal in the Ethereal Sea? Unfortunately, that was the extent of the information we could glean before we were forced to turn our focus towards the Exodus. The crystal was very nearly forgotten amidst the sudden upheaval. But, thanks to the efforts of a certain someone, that crisis is now behind us, and we are free to resume our research. Thus did we decide to seek you out, the dauntless adventurer who delved into the unknown and beheld its innermost secrets. And now we would have you see for yourself. This is the... Here is the crystal in question. Let's have a look. If it resembles aught you have encountered before, even by the smallest degree, please say so. Well, what if we... It couldn't be. That's... Asian. That's a memory crystal. One like the ancients used. As I thought, you do know what this is. Please, tell me everything. Well, a little bit of a long story, but it goes back to my time in the First. I see. The Asians used these to transfer their memories to new vessels. Fascinating indeed. It was plain that this crystal was special somehow, but this revelation surpasses even my considerable expectations. Similar artifacts have appeared throughout the ages. Memories of martial techniques manifested as crystalline shards on the battlefield, or storage stones passed from master to student. You mean soul crystals? A comparison between said artifacts and this crystal may prove a fruitful first step in unveiling its true nature. What do you think, Professor? Asian memories. Windows through which we can gaze upon the convocation of 14. Professor? Unlike the crystal in Sorin's story, this one does not bear the mark of the convocation. Who, then, could these memories belong to? And more importantly, why were they stored in this particular shard? More importantly still, why was it set adrift on the ethereal sea? Professor? Is everything okay? Professor! Professor! Claudian! Yes? I'm well aware that contemplation is the key to breakthrough, but there is propriety to consider. We have a guest, one you invited explicitly. Must we do this every time? Yes, of course, our guest. Terribly sorry. I do so easily find myself unmoored by the tides of rumination. It's perfectly okay. You're not the first person I've met like that. Perhaps a more, engaging use of your time with us would be for you to take up that crystal. If indeed there are memories stored within, they may reveal themselves to you upon contact. I can give it a try. I did hear voices from the others. Something's happening. If anyone, message, come. Pandaemonium, please. Faces, grave threat. Star, in danger. What was... That expression does not bode well. What did you see? I... heard... Pandaemonium. The stars in grave danger. Pandaemonium? It is not a word I have heard before. If my knowledge of the ancient tongue serves me, it means all demons. Not a name that inspires optimism, all things considered. All demons. What? In the event that another star-shattering cataclysm is in fact bearing down upon us. Excuse me. I would have the aforementioned examples of crystallized memory to hand. Mjiji, Rusno, I entrust their procurement to you. If there are more memories to be extracted from this crystal, we will find them. As for you, Sorin, there's a person I would have you seek. The one who has delivered so dire a warning. Your story tells us that this crystal could very well have been made by one of the ancients. If that is the case, then discerning the nature of this Pandaemonium would require a trip far into the past, to an era before the Sundering. I know of only one individual capable of such a feat, the very hero who traversed time to prevent the world's doom. Right. I must confess, the tales people tell of your adventures beggar belief. Their veracity has been a subject of much debate among my peers. After today's meeting, however, there can be no doubt in my mind that every incredible exploit is fact. So I ask you now, return to the past. Find out what and where Pandaemonium is, and if we need be concerned by this message. Leave it to me. If it's a problem in the past, I can only assume things go well, because we don't know anything about this Pandaemonium in the present, do we? Always better to be safe than sorry. Thank you. For the time being, you should keep the crystal in your possession. I'm very yawny today. I do not think you've seen the last of its memories, and more may be drawn out as you approach their source. Safe travels, and may we meet again soon to share our findings. Right. I guess I'm returning to Elpis. Hopefully the portal still works. I've not attempted to return since I first visited. Take your time, game. Alright. Everything in the Crystarium seems to still be going well. Good to see the first is still safe. Well, welcome, my lord. If you wish to go to the ocular, I should be glad to escort you. Oh, thank you for the follow, Alexis C8. Welcome to the stream. Guess I just have to hope it works. Elizabeth isn't about to help me this time. If receives this message. The portal's responding? What's going on? There's only one thing for it. Come, Pandaemonium, quickly. This is... Ow. This looks like Elpis, but this is the portal growing inaccurate? Ugh. Hi. Sorry, did I just... Could it be? No, of course not. Apologies, but for the briefest moment I thought you to be a dear friend of mine. I realize now that such a notion is preposterous. Sorry about that. He told me a falling star would appear before me, and I suppose you must be it. Truth be told, I did not expect the expression to be so literal. I was foretold? He must be an ancient, but those robes. Vinaz's the only other person I've seen with white robes. Apologies for not introducing myself properly. My name is Femis. As you can see by my bare face, I am not one of Elpis's observers. Rather, I am come here on an assignment, which has been more or less routine up until this very moment. What happened? I suppose I did, didn't I? You certainly do know how to make an entrance. I must wonder what brought you here, for it is plain that you do not belong here, or any place I know for that matter. Well, I suppose I can just go with the excuse that Emmett Selk gave me. Probably best. You could say I'm a familiar of Asm. It appears my initial impression was not so preposterous after all. Did not know my friend had such a unique familiar at his disposal. Wait, does that mean Asm's the one who predicted me? If you're here at Asm's behest, then I believe I can hazard a guess as to your purpose. You are here to investigate Pandaemonium, yes? I am. If so, we may be able to help one another. But first, might I trouble you to explain how you came to collide with my skull? That's... well... I see. I believe that dispels any major doubts I had concerning your intentions. Apologies for being so intrusive, but you must understand that this is an uncommon occurrence. That's perfectly fair. People falling from the sky. I shall pry no further, for I am well aware that we all have secrets we must keep. However, if I may, I would very much like to take a look at this crystal of yours. Right. I don't see any harm in it. Here. Fascinating. While I cannot say much as to what it contains, it is clear that there are memories stirring within. Memories that speak of something gravely amiss in Pandaemonium. Even an ancient can't fully read it? So, about this Pandaemonium. The facility extends beneath Elpis and is overseen by the words of La Habrea. Ah, that's a name I haven't heard in some time. It houses those creations that are highly valued as research subjects and highly dangerous to the star. Naturally, it is strictly guarded and under constant surveillance. Several days ago, however, an unnatural shift in the flow of its surrounding ether was detected. Soon thereafter, all communications from Pandaemonium ceased. That's probably bad. I'm here as a representative of an organization that works directly with the Convocation, and have been tasked with investigating this incident. Now that there is some measure of transparency between us, might I offer a suggestion as to what we should do next? Of course. I suppose you could say I'm just here to help. So, how do we begin? Now then, my proposal is a simple one. Let us journey to Pandaemonium together. Our destination is the same, and I suspect the arrangement would work to our mutual benefit. Besides, I should have no trouble gaining us both access. I do hope you agree. I would be loath to part ways from the falling star I had been waiting so long for. I'm still not quite sure I understand. Originally, I had planned to conduct my investigation with the friend I mentioned earlier. He had also noticed the anomaly near Pandaemonium, so it only seemed natural that we should investigate it together. However, he eventually decided that it would be unwise for us both to go. If two members of our organization were seen poking our heads about restricted facilities, it could raise questions, you see. I decided to go alone, but he left me with these words. Fear not, for in my absence a star shall fall before you. While I could not comprehend his meaning at the time, I believe now I understand. He does have a way of being right about these things. Right. Even so, his hints of what are to come are generally more cryptic. I suppose I should have kept my gaze to the heavens. Suffice it to say that I am grateful for your presence either way. As for the matter at hand, we must first gain permission from the words of La Habrea for entry into Pandaemonium. There ought to be a speaker waiting at Anagnosis. Right. Wondered what Tifladeus, Vana, and Selk are doing at the moment. I find Vana? Let her know that we did it? We stopped the final days? Or maybe I shouldn't seek her out. I'm sure she knows. She believed in us more than anyone. Hello there. I guess I should let Vemus do the talking. What a fascinating etheric signature. In accordance with the Convocation's request, the two of you have been granted leave to observe Pandaemonium. I shall register your ether for the records. From this point on, you may freely come and go from Pandaemonium as you please. Now, that was a painless process. I take this as a sign that we were meant to conduct our investigations together. Right. Of course, while you have been permitted entry into the facility, the specimens housed inside must be handled with the utmost care. You are to heed the warder's instructions at all times. The warders? Those who conduct their work within Pandaemonium are called warders, for their role with respect to the creatures within. Generally, creations that pose a threat to the safety of the star must be undone. However, the words of La Habrea has deemed certain such creations as worthy of further study, interring them within the facility. Those who spend their days in Pandaemonium are not merely researchers. They must work tirelessly to ensure that none of their subjects slip their shackles. For all intents and purposes, the place is a dungeon. Perhaps such comparison arouses frightful imagery, but Pandaemonium is a frightful place. Right. I know not the purpose of your investigation, but if you discover aught that merits a report, pray do so with utmost haste. Master La Habrea shall guide us upon the proper course of action from there. Is that La Habrea the same? Then I take it that means you have detected nothing amiss as of late. The warders have reported nothing that would cause alarm. Minor fluctuations in ether have been observed, but surely Master La Habrea would have acted if there were anything worth worrying about. I see. It appears La Habrea is kept well abreast of the goings-on here, then. I hope I am not overstepping my boundaries by asking, but you seem to be quite familiar with Master La Habrea. Do you know him? We've met, you could say. Not a mere familiar would have had the honor to meet Master La Habrea. He is not known to easily afford others his time, so you must be extraordinary indeed to be granted even a moment of it. Regardless, while I doubt I need to tell you this, he is of the Convocation. Take care that your actions do not hinder his work. And with that, we are free to make our way to Pandaemonium. The nearest that will take us there is on the eastern bank of Leaf. Let us delay no further. Right. La Brea. It's been so long now. Last fought him back in the middle of the Dragonsong War. This is where Meteon gave her a report. I never quite thought I'd return here. This is looking a little overgrown. I had to contain my surprise for the sake of appearances, but is it true that you too have met La Habrea in the flesh? I find you more fascinating by the moment. Still, I shall refrain from asking too many questions. Secrets will make our journey all the more intriguing. We shall come to know each other in time, I wager. Or else why would fate have orchestrated our meeting? In any case, let us be off. The truth be told, this will be my first time beholding the fabled Pandaemonium with my own eyes. Here's to a new adventure, eh? Alright. It seems to work, even if overgrown. This is Pandaemonium? It's certainly ominous. I can kind of see this place being under La Habrea's command. It is much as I feared. The speaker seemed in such high spirits that for a moment I thought the ethereal irregularity not nearly so grave a portent as I had imagined. Alas, 'twas a fleeing and vain hope. To gaze upon this complex network of chains and wards, the untrained eye might not sense anything awry. No effort has been spared in making this place impenetrable. But is something wrong? It's hard to know what I'm looking at. Even the finest of masterworks is not without its flaws, however. Someone or something is tampering with the protections. It is working from within, eroding them from the inside out. That's bad, right? If there's dangerous creatures in there? Fear not, there is no immediate danger. I reinforced what protections I could the moment we arrived. This will not put an end to whatever is occurring, but it shall at least serve to slow its progress. One small victory, though the road ahead of us is yet long. Yes, powerful forces are at work here. The silence in the air speaks volumes. While I did not expect a bustling facility, I see not a single warder. Our first course of action should be to seek one out, wherever they may be. All right. However, there is something you must know. The magic I wove upon entering requires my constant awareness. That is to say, if we are forced to fight, I cannot risk joining you in battle. Should I lose focus, Pandaemonium's protections will rapidly crumble before the force assailing them. And that's bad. But I'm a fairly confident fighter. We shouldn't need to worry. Were there another way, I would gladly choose it, but let us at least be grateful that neither of us is here alone, trapped in hopeless circumstances. If we should fail to find a peaceable solution, then I hope that I can rely on your strength to see us through. You can count on me. I'm quite interested in making sure the star's safe. Thank you for offering your help so willingly. If weapons are drawn, I hope to be able to lend at least a touch of magical support. What kind? Creation magics do have their uses in that regard. I had it in mind to use your ether as a basis for illusory allies that will fight at your side. Perhaps 7 shall do. Not exactly an army, but by the looks of you, a formidable band nonetheless. Party of 8. That certainly works with me. Then so shall it be. Now, what, I wonder, awaits us in Pandaemonium's pitiless halls? Yes. There's only one way to find out. That's Fidelis, the first circle. That's the name of it. I always forget the first circle. Oh, the first part of Pandaemonium. Alrighty. That's clear my leveling roulette. Okay. A bit of time. Hopefully being tank is going to make keep the queues not too long. Which is one of the reasons why I thought I'd keep Sorin, like, focusing on being a tank. I cannot say for sure what awaits us. Let us make ready for the worst. We shall not be taken by surprise. I just noticed I've got a extract materia. Nothing else needs extracted. All seems good. The weather is Pandaemonium as well. I wonder if I should maybe return quickly and see if I can just get make sure I've got my gear repaired now. All these side quests bother me. There's repair shop at Anagnosis. What? How is it spelled again? Yeah, Anagnosis. I think that's how it's supposed to be pronounced. Asian names always confuse me. Quite how they're supposed to be pronounced. Oh, there we go. Quickly. Oh, never mind. Nope, not getting my gear repaired. I'll have to try next time. It's all mostly in good condition. Alright. So, I guess we just... Wait, the gates are... Is that one of the warders? I can't quite see at this distance. I'll save them! I must! Vemus? This appears to be one of the warders we seek, but I'm afraid he is in no state to answer questions. Oh, I missed that last line. Alright. That's how it works. Certainly helpful. Okay. Just need to hold. This isn't someone we want to kill. Now, can I remember this fight? Because it's been a moment since I've gone through all the Pandaemonium raids. Okay. This is... This again. Certainly not the most difficult foe I faced. Hopefully I'm not speaking too soon. Alright. This is... it's opposites you want. You need to remember this. I think it's opposites? Yes. Alright. I've seen these kinds of magics before. Right. Just keep going at it. Now what? You leave me no choice. No choice to... What is this? Right. I see. Oh. I see. Just put them together. Watch out for that. Cover everyone. A little more. Still doing well. This is... I remember this being more difficult. Alright. Achievement unlocked. He's okay, right? Right? I suppose... You're all, oh, were you going back and like trying to fix all the ones that you just weren't credited for, Nam? Well, I'm not talking into... I wasn't talking in terms of the damage, I'm talking in terms of the actual mechanics of the fight. Like, it didn't feel like there was... I'm remembering back when I did the Eden raids not too long ago, and there were a lot of the Eden raids I kept screwing up because I couldn't remember the mechanics for them. But, that one went fairly... That one just felt fairly like I didn't have to do much thinking about it. Femis, he's okay, right? That was a thrilling display, and if I may be so vaunting, the warriors I spun from your Ether fought even more splendidly than I had anticipated. I suppose they were cut from excellent cloth, after all. We should wait until this man regains his senses. He wears the robes of a warder, and I would be very curious to know what drove him to attack us. sight on... I'd be very curious to know what drove him to attack us sight unseen. Oh, because we were just doing normal at times, and the one you... Oh yeah, the one you desynced. That was an interesting one. Not as interesting as the desync with meta though. That was a situation. Ropes of a... Well, we seem to be safe. No one else is coming out. Nothing else as well, I suppose. Sorin, he stirs. Sir? You're okay? What came over me? It's coming back to me. My mind was filled with a storm of desperation, anger. I leapt at you, though I knew naught of your intentions. Pray, accept my apologies, and my thanks. Did you not knock some sense back into me, I may have fallen upon someone less capable of defending themselves. I'm just glad you're okay. I am Eric Phonios, a warder of Asphodelis, Pandaemonium's highest layer, and the place we're in now. One must wonder why you were so desperate to keep us out. What is happening in Pandaemonium? Creations interred within Asphodelis have been set free, and stalk its halls to no end but violence. That's... bad. That is not good, to say the least. Has this ever happened before? No, never. Each level of Pandaemonium is under the charge of a key ward, who keeps strict control over the most minute aspects of their domain. They're selected with great care, and their loyalty to Master Lahabrea is absolute. Yet something has gone terribly wrong. Try as we might to hold the line, the chaos within is overwhelming. I hardly realized that I had become separated from my colleagues. I remember a chorus of whispers assailing my senses, and afterwards only flashes of rage and fury. Then blackness, from which I awoke to find that whatever had overcome me was gone. I see. Your senses may have been muddled by magics that affect the mind. Perhaps the self-same ones that saw you separated from the other warders. Whatever had taken hold of me, thank you for releasing me from its clutches. That you've come here from the surface must mean some word of our plight has reached the outside world. If you know anything that may help, pray tell. Well... actually... horror among horrors. So Pandaemonium's protections are indeed being dismantled from within. By the same individual, or individuals that released its captives and set them upon you, no doubt. Such knowledge avails us little, however, if we cannot ascertain their identity. Themis, was it? You said you worked for an organization under the auspices of the Convocation. Were they to receive word of what has transpired here, what measures would they take? Doubtless they would consider this place to be a lost cause. Pandaemonium's ties to the outside world would be severed. Or perhaps it would be wiped from existence entirely. Wiped out? As I thought, were the creatures to escape into the outside world, there would be untold carnage. The words of La Habrea would never risk that, despite what value the research subjects may hold. All the more reason to work with haste. If we can't expect further help, then it falls upon me to save the others. I'll not leave them behind. You would go alone? I won't leave the other wardens to face certain doom. I know they fight for survival even now. They wouldn't abandon their duty. They would see the creatures return to their cells at all costs. And so I must do the same. Themis, I know the request I'm about to make of you is a monumental one, but please, say not a word of this to the Convocation, until I've been given a chance to set things right. Forgive my rudeness, Ericphonios, but my decision cannot be swayed by emotion. You would only be consigning yourself to an early death. Strength of resolve alone cannot win in the face of overwhelming odds. That being said, our investigation has only just begun, and we would be remiss to turn back ere we've made an exhaustive survey. So, for the time being, there's slightly more than resolve to rely upon. Well, you can count on me. I suppose I'm just the muscle in the group, but I'll do my best. I knew you would be all too eager to join us. Excuse me. Each moment since you fell from the skies has been more interesting than the last. More and more you remind me of my dear friend, which goes some way toward encouraging me that this matter will yet reach a satisfactory conclusion. Let's hope so. So you agree to help? For the moment, our goals align. The protective magics of Pandaemonium yet hold. So for the moment, time is in our favor. Let us proceed upon the course you and Sorin have set us upon. Well, I've got your back. Themis and Sorin, yes? Thank you. The warders owe you a great debt already. Don't mention it. We shall be glad to have someone familiar with Pandaemonium's halls by our side. A party of 3 is ever so much more entertaining than a pair of 2. Now, let us turn our attention to rescuing your colleagues. Perhaps it would be wise to approach the gates, in case any have followed you out. So, no better place to start than the front door. I certainly didn't plan to make the place look inviting. Well, we're here. It seems our investigation will be quite the ordeal after all. Still, I find it hard to believe that La Habrea knows naught of what has transpired here. Whoever the mastermind of this crisis is, they do not lack for power and cunning. Right. Someone willing to take on La Habrea when he was still in charge of all this. Not a sound can be heard from within, which means neither creature nor warder has made it this far. We should begin forming a plan to save them at once. Forgive me if I misunderstand, but Do you mean to rescue the warders and creations both? Naturally. Although they may be dangerous, they're valuable research subjects. I wouldn't see our labor, our untold hours of study, go to waste. I dare say La Habrea would smile to hear you say such a thing. That is, if we had cause to report this incident to him. Eric Phonius? Smile? I'm not sure his face is capable of such warmth. That's... Ah, so you have met him before. I was under the impression he rarely visited Pandaemonium. I have, yes. My mentor was the previous head of this facility. That is to say, La Habrea's predecessor in the position of Chief Keyward. Her name was Athena. She was a researcher of the words. It was she who appointed me to this position, in fact. I see. I did not know there was a Chief Keyward before La Habrea. Your motivation to save your research subjects is not entirely driven by duty to the words, then. You wish also to preserve the work of your mentor. You've the right of it. I'm lagging in ideas of how to go about that, however. I'm a mere warder and cannot wield internment magics. Internment? But of course, I can hardly expect you to be versed in the magics we use here. If you recall, during our battle earlier, I bound you in ethereal shackles. Internment is a more refined and powerful magic based upon the same principles. While both are used to keep our subjects docile, only the keyword of each tier is permitted to use internment. Even if I were allowed, I lack the aptitude to use this spell to any notable effect. Fascinating. I have some knowledge of these forms of spellcraft, actually. La Habrea himself established their foundation, if I recall. While shackles are meant to bind an object in place for a short time, interment freezes the very space around it for as long as the caster wills. Indeed. While the illusory beings you summoned in our fight suggested as much, I see your knowledge of magic is vast. Perhaps you've mastered the art of interment and I've been lecturing you like a child all this time. I'm afraid my knowledge ends there. I have not a precise understanding of how the invocations interact with natural laws. It would be needed to cast said spells of any consistency. While I consider myself well versed in various magics, I would be ill-advised to assume the duties of a keyword without instruction. That being said, if I were to learn more of interment and its inner workings, perhaps. Well, Eric Bonios? Are you happy to share what you know? Well, the solution is obvious when you put it like that. Eric Phonius, you implied that what prevented you from performing interment was lack of magical capacity. What if I supplemented your power with my own? Would the spell succeed then? I can't say for certain. I've never heard of such a thing being done. I believe it may be our best recourse. And that is, of course, assuming you can perform the initial rites and incantations flawlessly. Even the smallest misstep and we would have to start over. You needn't worry about that. I've seen the spells cast so many times that their motions have been burned into my memory. I won't disappoint. Very well. Let us work out the specifics afterwards. Once we do, we can test out our methods on one of the escaped creatures. And I suppose there is the matter of finding one. It would be foolish to rush in blindly, lest we find ourselves surrounded with naught but an untested stratagem at our disposal. Nay, I would prefer to engage a single creature that Sorin could dispatch on his own if the spell were to go awry. Oh boy. I'm yawning a lot. I agree, and I may have an idea in that regard. I recall seeing the hippocampus wandering the waterways during my fight. Perhaps it's still there. A few of the subjects held within Asphodelos are fond of water, and I believe we'll be able to engage the beast without fear of unwanted guests. Well, I guess we have a plan. Then that shall be our first target, or perhaps subject is a better term. Before we commence with the interment magics, the creature should be weakened to a sufficient degree. I believe I can trust you with that task. Well, nothing I've not done before. Just a new creature. As dependable as ever. Once you've given it a thorough trouncing, we shall bind this hippocampus with the keyword's magic. Until then, my illusions shall fight by your side. The hippocampus will be alone, but it's a daunting opponent nonetheless. Its magic warps the environment around it, and it will be at home amidst the waterways. Steel yourself for a fight. Right. Well. Let's try this out. Sorry. I take it we are ready to fulfill our respective roles. Truth be told, this will be the first time I have practiced magic that requires such a degree of cooperation between parties. How thrilling. Athena ever drove home the fact that our subjects should be treated with the utmost care. It would be best if we could see them confined once again, rather than disposed of like beasts gone feral. Hopefully we can. But for now, I think I'll go and see if I can't get my gear repaired this time before the Q pumps. Oh boy. Can't really remember the hippocampus fight. I remember kind of Eric Phonios a bit more because I've had it's popped up a few times in my roulettes since I did it the first time around. Oh boy. And I think I've only gotten the hippocampus like once more since. So this will only be my third time doing the fight. I kind of remember a little bit of a mechanic in that it has like a head and a torso that can aim separately. Something like that. Alright. Think of all the enemies in this window, I think it's the third circle probably has the hardest, if I remember correctly. So, give me a moment. I just need to... Ooh, just needed to blow my nose a bit. Gear repaired, nothing needs replaced, so I guess I can just head back and wait at Pandaemonium. And just be hungry. So yeah, plan for this stream is to get through Asphodelis, so the first circle, not the first circle, the first third of Pandaemonium. So this won't be as long a stream as normal. I don't think I'm gonna go the full 3 hours. Really just depends on the queue times though. But hopefully being tanked should mean that queue times aren't too bad for me. And my stream being a bit later as well might help. I think there's more people online around this time than when I stream earlier in the evening. I'm feeling quite hungry at the moment though. Was talking, helping out at the youth group earlier. When we were leaving, we were kind of talking about a new kebab shop that's opening up in our village, and it's a local. Oh, there we go. Yeah, it's a local place, but they're opening a new branch just in our village, and they do really nice kebabs. And talking about it has made me very hungry, but they're not open yet. All right, these are the waterways. Where's this hippo? I'm guessing that's it. What it? Alright. Counting on you, Famous. Mythic creation. Hippocampus. Yes, I can tank. Okay, I feel I'm familiar enough that I can tank. Probably. That looks like a... Yep, AoE. Right. Nope. Double tank buster. Ow. Right. This is... wait, it's the... nope, I got it backwards. I remembered one of them did a line, one of them did a wide. But it's the head that does the wide, and the torso that does the... There we go. Right. What's doing now? Oh. It's flooding the place. Stay on the high ground. Should be easy to manage. All right. I should drop my tank stance, I think. Oh, that's a... I forgot I could have just done arm's reach, couldn't I? Arm's length even. That looks like you have to evade that. Oh. Just keep going. This one again. This one's a safe location. Sewage eruption. Did I miss what that was last time? Oh no, you didn't pass it last time, I don't think. Be careful. This way. Wait, that's bad. It could have been worse. Predatory sight. Oh. And one more. There we go. I think we got it. Famous, Ericphonius? You can do this, right? That's... interment? It... worked, right? I don't need loot. We did it. I knew you were no mere mercenary, but to make such clean work of the hippocampus. Seasoned fighters scarcely have occasion to visit Pandaemonium, let alone display their skills. Mastery takes all forms indeed. Needless to say, our plan worked to perfection, in no small part thanks to you two. Famous' power was more than enough to complete the interment. Spell costume was never my strong suit, but that almost made me feel like a proper magos. Truly. Having seen your abilities firsthand in your fight with Sorin, I beg to disagree. Shackles is the one exception, and 'tis only because I've been forced to practice it since I was but a small child. Other magics leave me feeling completely out of my depth. Regardless, it seems luck is on my side, to guide me to you. We may prove the impossible possible after all. Just keep grabbing the critical hit materia, so it only takes up one inventory space. After witnessing the hippocampus's capabilities, I should not blame you for wishing to avoid engaging in any further creations in the place of their choosing. Alas, I doubt we will have the luxury. What's the next step? We know the interment works. While our success in sealing away the hippocampus is certainly heartening, the fact that we have yet to see any of our warders concerns me. That is concerning. The key ward of Asphodelos is nothing if not cautious. Doubtless he has gathered what warders he could and retreated to a safe area. Let us hope so. It occurs to me that I know little of the key wards beside their magical prowess. Is there aught more you can share? Of course. A man named Hesperus is in charge of Asphodelos. Not only does he have thorough knowledge of the creatures here, but he takes great pains to be a mentor to each of the warders under his charge. He has done much to ensure that I flourished here, in spite of my ineptitude in magic, and I have always known him to be the sort of man who faces difficult decisions with unwavering composure. Furthermore, key wards are not only masters of internment, they can also bend the hallways of Pandaemonium to their will with creation magics. With all this in mind, I am certain that so long as Hesperus guides them, the other warders are safe. I can see why absolute control over the environs is imperative. Had we faced the hippocampus upon arid sands instead of the waterways, I suspect the battle would have ended much more quickly. In any case, if this Hesperus is as capable and caring as you say, we would do well to seek him out as soon as we can. He is like as not taken your colleagues to a secure location. The safest place would be the innermost circle of Asphodelos. From there they could flee to Abyssos if hard-pressed. Even should they have sought safe haven within the other circles, if we make for the fourth, we ought to encounter them on the way. Indeed, and we shall gain a comprehensive understanding of the situation within Asphodelos, which will be essential in determining whether we ought to continue down to Abyssos. The rub, of course, is that I myself possess no power to bend the circles to my will. Instead, we must proceed through the central corridor, which was barred by the Phoenix last I checked. Phoenix. I've heard the name before. A fiery bird with life eternal. Phoenix? You mean Phoenix? Beyond unquenchable brilliance, the perfected concept boasts nigh boundless restorative powers, if I recall. Truly an exemplary feat of creation magics. Perfection is ever built on the back of failure, however. La Brea suffered countless missteps during his experiments. And he was hardly the only one. This Phoenix will be but one of many attempts at the concept gone awry. Aye, far from evoking wonder, our Phoenix is a creature of fury and wrath, and seeks only to turn the world to ash. Thus was it confined within Pandaemonium. Development of the concept continued elsewhere, but as the moons turned, more and more researchers abandoned the project as an impossibility, save for La Brea and his words. When I received word that at long last La Brea had succeeded where so many others had failed, I was nearly overcome. Pray tell, how did the warders of Pandaemonium celebrate their master's accomplishment? I don't believe we did. The research of the words of La Brea has little consequence to our work here, save for those rare times it charges us with a new specimen. Truth be told, I don't remember anyone making note of their occasion. But enough reminiscing. We must make ready to confront the Phoenix. While it's possible that it flew off to some other wing of Pandaemonium, we would make that assumption at our own peril. Better to assume that we'll need to bring Asphodelos' most unruly subject to heel. I certainly see no reason to delay. The Phoenix's power over flame will avail it far less in a barren corridor than elsewhere, so it may well serve us to subdue it sooner rather than later. Well, I'm ready to go. Oh. So, where to next? Eric Phonius? What's up? Window? Is that the Phoenix? Well, if it's not in our way, then we can... What happened to the corridor? What? This isn't good. What was that? It seems whoever's behind us can alter the space around us at will. We face an uphill battle. Right. Impossible. If those were creation magics at work, then that means... Let us confront the reality after we have conquered the enemy in front of us. Every drop of our focus shall be required if we are to inter the Phoenix. One problem at a time. Seems this won't be quite as easy a battle as we thought. Fight well, friend. We shall gain naught from allowing the larger implications of this to distract us from the fight ahead. The Phoenix's rage will be unbridled, but I trust you are prepared for the worst. This one's wait time is 6 minutes. We're creeping down. It was 8, then 7, then 6. I think I heard this was the one that kind of when it was the current Savage tier, like this was the painful raid. Not too much to do other than wait. It's not like when I was doing the what was it? The near raids and Shadowbringers, where I was waiting for a long time to get the raids popping. I think it was a similar situation with the ultimate weapons quest line. Let's just watch out on Pandaemonium. Oh, don't think I ever got as fortunate with queue times as I did when I was doing the Four Lords trials. Suzaku and Seiryu queued nearly instantly, and I think it was Seiryu, like, in particular, just kind of popped straight away for me, even as DPS. but you can't. Yeah, you really can't predict. This is the one thing about streaming Final Fantasy, is you can't really predict queue times. I suppose is one of the good things if I do get Sorin onto Dawn Trail is, yeah, all the, on top of everything, still having their duty support you can do. Even the, well, the first 2 trials? Yeah, I think the first 2 trials have duty support, and then I think it's only the level 100 trial that you have to go with a party with. Oh, hello, hello. There we go. As Fidelis, the 3rd circle. Alright. Here we go. That must be it. Phoenix. Yeah, certainly not quite the same as the Phoenix I'm familiar with. Well, let's go. Ow. No, I'm missing entirely what I'm supposed to be doing already. Experimental fire plume. Okay. Let's see how that works. Just need to be careful. Darkened fire. Alright. Solved that problem. Don't know what that problem would have been, but probably for the best, I don't know. Here we mixed up my left and right. Where's it going? That doesn't look great. I'm trying to remember this one. Did I be putting my tank stance on for this one? Or do these have like... It's just they can't be like inside. I've completely forgotten this one. A dead rebirth. This sounds bad. Alrighty. but we're all alive. That's all that matters. We can do this. Away from that. Oh, I should really sound. Oops. Forgot to turn off tank sons. Lock that. Here we go. Now what? Okay. A little more. Aramis, Ericphonius. Did it once, we can do it twice. There we go. Everyone down. Healer friend. Well, with that, the Phoenix is shackled once more. However, there's yet the matter of this arena. Right. As you've told us, there is but one person in Asphodelis with the ability and authority to wield such magics. Though, fortunately, it appears he has saved us the trouble of finding him. But that's a contemptible display, as befits an inferior specimen. Is that? Even so, I expected it would at least delay your advance. Imagine my surprise when I saw the chains of interment drag the Phoenix back to its cage. Either the bird is even more of a failure than its creators care to admit, or you are no mean trespassers. I had hoped my suspicions were misplaced, but alas. Is that... Keyword Hespers? Why? Why have you brought such chaos to your beloved Pandaemonium? Pandaemonium. Pitiless, impenetrable, and utterly steadfast. Unlike those charged with its keeping. What has possessed you? I don't understand. Oh, Ericphonius, must you pester me with these inane questions? Think for yourself. Surely you can muster a fury or two with that dim wit of yours. Then again, you never have been one for insight. Why Master La Brea suffers your mediocrity I shall never understand. Ericphonius? You may look like him, but you're not the Hesperus I know. Something has warped you too, from the inside out. The keyword I knew had compassion for all those under his charge, be they clad in robes or shackled in chains. Was that all a farce? Did you hide your contempt for us for all these years? Those who are content to merely glimpse the water's surface are doomed to be dragged into its depths. You prove my opinion of you of every word. My mind is clearer than it has ever been. Even now, seeing you feebly grasp for answers makes the bile rise in my throat. Such wasted potential. To be son to Master La Brea, yet no more skilled with magic than a newborn babe. La Brea's son? But of course, it's always about La Brea. Silence! You are not worthy to utter his name. For once, be grateful to witness a feat beyond your meager abilities, beyond your shallow reckoning. I have slipped the surly bonds of mortality. I have become one with our mythic creations, and rid myself of imperfections. I stand upon the threshold of godhood. As a Hemifios, I shall serve Master La Brea, ever faithful, unto the end of days. This is not good. That's the interment circle. And he shall require no other. I think not. Themis? Are you so blinded by arrogance that you have lost sight of what it means to serve? Ericphonius is more capable than you could ever know. It was thanks to his instruction that I was able to master the art of interment, both how to wield it, and how to break free of it. Sorin, let us quit this place. Whatever poison has corrupted Hesperus' mind, it is plain his power far eclipses our own. We must have time to gather our strength. Right. Weaklings though they may be, it takes a singular aptitude to master interment so quickly. To say nothing of how swiftly that familiar laid low to Phoenix. Regardless, their noble aims will be their undoing, where they fritter away their strength in calming the beasts of Asphodelos. I continue my work, even should they survive long enough to reach the heart of my domain. Naught shall await them but doom. I eagerly await your arrival, Ericphonius. Even dullards have their uses. Eric... Themis? What's our plan? My darkest suspicions have been realized. We faced the key ward of Asphodelos himself. More than that revelation, however, Ericphonius worries me. He loved Hesperus for his compassion, but received naught but scorn from whatever the key ward has become. He has said little since our return. I only hope that the shock of recent events does not prove to be a death knell for his resolve. Should we check in on him? Much as I am loath to disturb Ecrophonius so soon after what just occurred, I am afraid circumstances do not afford us the luxury of time. Perhaps it will do him well to speak about recent events, concerning both the keyword and his father. I'll see what he says. Ecrophonius? Creation of the ward which surrounds Pandaemonium was an astounding feat of magical prowess. A feat accomplished by none other than Labrea. That both my father and I can bind others in chains is perhaps the only thing we have in common. So it is true. I'm Labrea's son. Bereft of his talent for magics, or his brilliant mind, but his son nonetheless. Surely this doesn't come entirely as a surprise to you. Nay, I had an inkling when you had said you had practiced ethereal shackles since childhood. Assuming you haven't been employed here quite that long, it had to indicate some long-held connection with Labrea. It was Labrea that taught me how to cast ethereal shackles, but that was it. My further education was overseen by the words of Labrea. More specifically, my mother, who was a researcher there. You did speak of Athena, chief keyword before Labrea. She is your mother, yes? So, both his mother and father were in charge of Pandaemonium? How astute. I can see now why you were chosen to lead this investigation. You've the right of it. Athena was my mother. And it was she who invited me to join her here. Labrea had nothing to do with it. Excuse me? I can see there's little love lost between you two. What I cannot see is why Labrea was appointed chief keyword when another was already in place. Was in place. My mother is no longer with us. Labrea was all too eager to assume her responsibilities, with nary a moment spared to mourn her. What love do I owe him now, when he offered her not one drop of compassion then? Hello, Azenith. Welcome to the late stream. Ah, I see. She is no longer with us. An expression to convey the end of a life. I have known only the public face of Labrea, while he is lauded for his ability to maintain composure in the face of unnerving circumstances. I must admit that oft he comes across as cold. Apologies, but can we speak of something else? This topic isn't an easy one for me to discuss. Of course. There are more pressing matters at hand, after all. Namely, how to deal with Hesperos. We have yet to see the other warders. Judging by what we know, we can surmise that Hesperos has confined them somewhere beyond our grasp. And now that he is aware of our presence, he'll be preparing for our next encounter. Oh, excuse me. We cannot expect to face him on equal footing. Quite the opposite, in fact. Every moment we spend chasing after the creations is another moment Hesperus can contrive another advantage for himself. The wisest course would be to find him first and foremost. Alright. So, how do we go about that? He's said that he has become one with the creations. Perhaps that means he is vulnerable to interment. You mean we can imprison him? In theory, that should be possible. However, is it enough to merely to confine him, after all he has done? I need to know why. I need to know what drove him to forsake everything he's worked for. Was it all truly so he can serve his master? To my mind, he's merely put La Brea's own work at risk in trade for some nebulous power. La Brea is the chief key ward of Pandaemonium. How would throwing it into disarray win his favor? Doesn't make any sense. I share your curiosity, but we must consider that our enemy has us at a disadvantage in every sense. What do you think? Should we seek to put him in fetters, or would it be too dangerous to allow him quarter? Well, I think I'm with Archivonius on this. I don't have the same investment as you two, but we need to know what's going on. Daring as ever, I see. I know not which trials you have faced in your past, but to see you so certain is all the convincing I need. Very well. Let us try Archivonius' plan. Thank you, Sorin. Don't worry about it. We're in this together now. I believe I can shed some light on the nature of our foe. When Hesperus spoke of us, I noticed he bore the telltale fangs of the... Oh, these words. Regulagus, a beast which feeds off the ether of its prey. Likely that is the creation Hesperus merged his essence with. And we know all too well that he can change the environment around himself at will. The battle will not be an easy one, but I believe in our victory. Alright. I guess it's just up to me to fulfill that. Living up to the expectations. There we go. The fourth circle, now accessible. So will this drop down to 5 minutes? Will we get an 8765 in all the estimated times? Oh no, no, the game's going in the opposite direction. He called himself a Hemitheos and claimed immortality. I know not how he discovered this dark art, but his actions do not bespeak a sound mind. Did Hesperus possess such a lust for power that he would resort to this? Clearly I misjudged him. I'd like nothing more than to strike him down myself, but seeing you wipe that arrogant grin off his face will taste just as sweet. Well... just hope we can do this without problem, and maybe we can see that something's controlling him, that this isn't really Hesperus. But yeah, nothing much to do than wait. It's going up to 15 minutes. Ugh. No healers and no DPS, but we got both the tanks. Suppose I could swap to healer. So The thing is, if I swap to healer and I'm wrong, then I'm knocking myself back in the queue further. But actually, we're not that deep into the queue, so let's... Astrologian. Oh, I'm still in the Asian robes. That works. Okay, less than 5 minutes. There we go. I have a portrait. Yeah, I have my portrait. I was going to head out and see if I could glamour over this. Yeah, that glam works for... Okay, yeah, that's all class neutral. That's nice to see. Actually, can I glam here? Oh, you can. Yeah, I didn't think the weapon would work. Why do I not have any skills on 3 and 4? I feel I should have skills on 3 and 4, but I don't know what I would put there. Alrighty. Hesperus. Right. Let's go. Hemifios Hesperus. Of course. Where's my card skills? They're not on my hotbar. Why? Right, I'm gonna need to try and fix this mid-battle. Oop. I know you don't need to dodge that, but I feel you should. Two. This is the one you want to be away from, isn't it? Yep. And then I need astral draw somewhere. There we go. Okay, right. Okay. I was wondering, my hotbar kind of looked like I was missing some things. This is the knockback one. Right. It's a stab. Yep. Okay, 3 of them. Acid is... Is that a stack marker or the individuals? I know between the acid and the fire, one is a stack marker, one's... Like, you need to spread out. Oh, careful. Okay, acid is spread out. Oh, careful. Wait, no, that's another skill I don't... Where's Minor Arcana? You'll be triggered on something. Right, so this is you just don't be the class that is marked. Okay, that works. Grab that. Alright. Wait, which one's the sword? Oh yeah, so the cape is then a knockback? I think. Yes. I vaguely remember how to play. Eric Phonius? Famous? I think I did it. Pandaemonium Asphodelis complete. Can Sorin get the little bat friend? Yes, he can. Well, now, Famous, we end us here. It's maybe too dangerous to wait for him to regain consciousness. Fools! I will not be put in chains. Of course he would know how to break them as well. To think I would fall before one such as you. Perhaps I should have treated you as more than a mere nuisance. Despite your victory, you shall never have the knowledge you seek. The secrets of my transformation, the secrets of my deception. They shall return to the star with me. You're wasting your breath, Hesperus. We have the upper hand now. Surely you can see that. Oh yes, yes. My repertoire is not exhausted yet, however. Although I have failed, my end shall be on my terms. What's himself? I remain loyal to my very last. Come what may, I die with dignity. How did your ambition lead you so astray, Hesperus? You were better than that. Your star shone more brightly than any other in Pandaemonium. You had Labrae's respect, his trust. What more did you seek? That you would forsake all that and sully your legacy besides. Now what? He became so blinded by his own desires that he lost sight of his duty. In the end, he lost everything, and his plans lie in tatters. I fail to see any dignity in that. Even so, I would have liked to know why he chose this path. Hesperos's infatuation with your father was his undoing. Perhaps he was jealous that fate had chosen you and not him to be Labrae's son. So terrible did this jealousy become that he sought verboten power. Power that Labrae would be unable to ignore. How does the pursuit for respect warp one's heart so? How does infatuation with one person turn into contempt for everyone else? I've never heard of such a thing. It is something, unfortunately, I've seen before. It's never good, but it does happen. I see. I admit I cannot but find it vexing, but perhaps that signifies naught but my own capacity for bitterness. I do understand what it is to have a beacon to follow in dark times. A person you trust to guide you through. How it is to desperately wish their light would fall upon you again. Ericphonius? We have spent enough time assuming the intentions of the departed. They are the living to consider. We must find the other warders and round up the remaining creations forthwith. Of that, at least, we can be certain. Right. I believe I can be of help in that matter. The influence of Hesperus' magic is fading throughout Asphodelis. Now is the perfect opportunity to seize control of the facilities and restore things to their original state. Seize control? Can you really do that? Themis? What? What is this presence? Ericphonius, what lies beyond that threshold? That's the passage which connects Asphodelis to Abyssos. Why? Be on your guard, you two. Now that Asphodelis is free of obstructions, I can more easily sense disturbances in the lower levels. Something stirs in Abyssos. It seems we're not finished. What is... a warning signal? How? Let us return to the gates for now. I should like to apprise the situation from there. Needless to say, our investigation is far from over. So it seems. I was trying to remember for a moment the first set of the Abyssos raids, but no, I think I remember. It's a fun one. What's going on? Although we have defeated Hesperus, it appears we have but scratched the surface of Pandaemonium's troubles. My head is still swimming with questions, but could this mean that Hesperus wasn't actually behind this? It is a stark possibility, yes. The root of this crisis may lie somewhere much deeper than even Abyssos. When we first encountered you, you said the memories of your escape were vague and that your senses were muddled. I believe this was more than the result of a panicked mind. You were made to feel this way by a powerful magical influence. It is possible that the same magic could have poisoned Hesperus' heart, twisting his affection for La Habrea into a burning obsession. Then, in his altered state, he was made an offer of power he could not refuse. Wait, are you suggesting that someone else turned Hesperus into that thing? If so, it stands to reason that they wouldn't stop at him. Indeed, our mysterious mastermind does not lack for subjects for his experiments. For more potential hemiphioi. Whoever it is could be turning all the warders into... If what you're saying is true, then my colleagues, they're doomed to share the same fate as Hesperus. We have to do something. Do not lose heart yet, Erchphonius. Hesperus challenged us alone, and that tells me that the process of his creation was a long and taxing one. If he was the first Hemiphios, then the rest of the warders are likely still alive. However, much as I would like to hasten deeper into Pandaemonium, the way forward is sealed off. We must focus our efforts on finding a way through. With the creation still having free reign of Asphodelos, that won't be easy. On the contrary, I yet retain control of these circles, and thus can wield interment magics within their halls at will. The creatures will pose no threat to us. Oh boy, really have been yawning a lot. Just like that, and then nothing's stopping us from returning order to Asphodelos. Just so. I shall require your expertise to keep the peace after the subjects have been returned to their confinement, however. You are Asphodelos' sole remaining warder, after all. Truth be told, I did not expect this investigation to become so involved. Of course, I would like to resolve matters here without resorting to outside help, but... Do you mean to send a report to La Habrea? 'Tis too soon to say. Let us first find a way into Abyssos. It would be best to withhold our judgment until we have ascertained the whereabouts of the other warders, and the identity of the party responsible for their disappearance. Agreed. Even so, if it means saving even a single life within Pandaemonium, then I'm not above asking La Habrea for help. Should it come to that. Should it come to it. But for now, let's do what we can. Recent discoveries certainly paint Hesperus' actions in a new light. The number of unknown elements in the investigation grows, and we must proceed forward with the utmost caution. To that end, Erchphonius and I shall remain here for the time being. Much as I enjoy your company, I do not believe we shall be needing protection so long as we remain in Asphodelos. You should take this time to rest. Surely you are weary, and there may be more battles ahead of us. Themis' burden may grow heavier in your absence, but he's shown that he's more than capable to bear it. Still, I would help wheresoever I'm able. All we've achieved so far has been thanks to you two, and I mean to repay the debt I owe. I don't know what use I can be outside of placating the creatures, but I'll find a way. Nonsense. You owe us nothing. It was thanks to your knowledge of the magics which govern this place that we were able to come this far. Elsewise, we would have likely succumbed to the hippocampus's assault. Each of us has arrived at this dire pass by separate paths, but it is only by combining our respective expertise that we will reach the end of it and see Pandaemonium saved. We'll see this through, Acronius. Thank you, Femis. Hesperus's words seem to have affected me more than I realize. Together we've come this far, and together we'll reach the end. I have no doubt we will. Even so, let us allow Sorin his rest. Besides, you have someone awaiting a report on your progress, yes? I dare say your story will be much more than they ever imagined. Right. I'm sure it will be. With that, I should be leaving. I don't quite know how, but I'll make sure it's not too long before I come back to check in. See you two. Still think it's really kind of inconvenient, the design of the Sharlayan Aetherites. Gotta make sure everyone who teleports gets their feet wet. Professor Claudian? I'm back. Welcome, Sorin. I'm back from the past and on to worse for wear, I see. So, what did you find? Well, I found Pandaemonium, and let me tell you. So I'm back here for now. So there is evil afoot in Pandaemonium. An already ominous place, I must say. Mythic beasts and missing warders. And truly, we are fortunate to see you return to us in one piece. It appears the voice Sorin heard from the crystal spoke the truth. As for who left it behind and why, those are yet questions to be answered. Indeed, it could be someone who lived among the ancients, or it could be someone trying to avert a tragedy from the future. Much remains shrouded in mystery. Yet ilm by ilm we shall unveil that mystery, with the help of Sorin, of course. By his actions was the fabric of the past reshaped, yet he returns to the same present he left. Which can only mean one thing, that his intervention in Pandaemonium's crisis is but one of the countless building blocks of history upon which our present has been built. You mean I was always supposed to go back? There's no telling what consequences would arise if we stopped pursuing this matter now. Whatever plot is unraveling within Pandaemonium, we must not let it reach its conclusion. If one of those creatures should escape, what ripples would carry forth to the future? They might wreak havoc upon the world of the ancients, and their despair would leave an indelible mark upon history's pages. That despair would only feed the terrible beasts that arose during the final days. The final days already had a drastic effect on the aeons that followed. If the scars that left were made even deeper, then we risk losing our present entirely. Whatever the cost, our connection with the future of Elpis must be preserved. I know I've asked much of you already, but can I count on you to continue your work in Pandaemonium? Of course you can. I've started this adventure. I mean to see it through. Your tireless efforts are much appreciated. If there is aught we can do to ease your burden, you need only say the word. Speaking of which, might you return the crystal into our keeping? While we cannot accompany you to the past, perhaps something can be gained by researching it further. Of course. It's more yours than mine, after all. It shines just as splendidly as the day we met. We shall begin work right away, but I cannot promise any meaningful results for some time. And as matters in Elpis seem to be in a similar state, I must ask that you rest. But before that, allow me to make an introduction. As our research moves into its critical stage, I found it only suitable to recruit another assistant. Melanie is an expert in armaments from throughout history, be they from the far-flung past or made in the most modern forges. Should you find aught of interest in your adventures, bring it here and she'll be glad to offer her services. We know researchers in numerous fields that would love to get their hands on artifacts from bygone eras, and would give you goods in return that should aid you in trials ahead. Furthermore, if you ever wish to peruse the records of events you have reported here, Mjiji has been taking faithful and thorough notes. She is at your complete disposal. Well, thank you. I look forward to working with you all. I sense that we have embarked upon something monumental. Something that will dwarf all else I have accomplished in my many years of research. I can think of no greater honor, nor reassurance, than to have your capable assistance in this endeavor. If there is anything to be found that will contribute to your success, we shall find it. We shall not rest until we've unlocked the mysteries of this crystal, and you will be the first to know when we do so. Alright. Let's solve this mystery together. Tenacity, why not? But that will be me for now. I think it's in Abyssos that the Pandaemonium plotline really starts to pick up. Let's have the Aporia. It's kind of nice to get back to Final Fantasy after a while. So, yeah, I'm still a little undecided on whether I'll be doing Dawn Trail. I might not even do the Void thing, the Void stuff with Sorin. I'm kind of, it's nice to get back, but I'm also kind of, I feel I'm more interested in doing other games at the moment. I think there were so many delays of me getting back to Final Fantasy XIV that I feel I kind of missed my window when I had the enthusiasm for it. To get back to Sorin's journey. It just really isn't the same. Endwalker really did feel like a good ending point. In some ways. In a lot of ways. But I'll see how I feel. I definitely want to go through Pandaemonium, at least. But yeah, that's going to be the last stream for this week. I'll be back on Monday with more Persona 5 Strikers. But yeah, as usual, the schedule will go up on my Discord and on YouTube, hopefully. I'm wondering now if I remember to post my schedule on YouTube this week. Yeah, link to my Discord is on both my Twitch and YouTube profile. And yeah, with all that said, thank you so much for coming along. I really hope you enjoyed. And until the next time I see you, have a good evening, have a good night, and goodbye.